All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. This is my Canon camera. This is the PowerShot V1. Now, I've actually been using this camera for more. I got it over a month ago, and I've been using it for some top-down shots like I'm doing right now. The camera that I'm currently using for this top-down shot is my Sony a6100 with the kit lens. Actually, this camera is such a great camera that it's gonna stay in rotation. I like that I can have interchangeable lenses with it, and it was very affordable when I got it. So, but this is about this Canon here. So this is actually a point and shoot Canon camera, but I think this camera was made to compete with the Sony ZV-1 and ZV-1F, that lineup. Now, I've never seen a point and shoot camera that had a cooling system, but this one actually does. You can see here, there's ventilation there on the sides and the top and all around the top there. This camera definitely does not get hot at all. Apparently, I guess some of the previous generation point and shoots from Canon had some cooling issues, but I've never had a point and shoot from Canon, only from Sony. And so in this video, I want to talk about my experience with this camera and why I don't think this is for vloggers. There's a number of reasons, but I'm going to keep it though. I'm going to keep it in rotation for some B-roll or something like that. But the first negative that I can come up with on this camera, that is very simple, it is the price. The price of this thing is $1,000 or more, depending on when you buy it. Just the standard cost of this camera is just over $1,000, but it's on sale a lot. See, it's new, but it's on sale at a lot of places. So even right now for Cyber Monday, they're doing, and Black Friday and all these, it's actually $130 off. The retail price of this, Canon has it listed as $1,030. And that's a steep price. And I'm going to go so far as to say, even at $900, it is a steep price. I just don't recommend this camera based on the price alone. It is expensive. This is and there are plenty of point and shoot cameras that are $1,000 or more. But this camera right here is not, that's just one of the things that I know I regret about this, is getting it at the price. And I didn't get it for the $900 either. When I got it, it was full cost. So with that, okay, now the next thing is the size of this thing. This is a ginormous point and shoot camera. How big? Well, it's the same size as my Sony a6100. That is incredible for a point and shoot camera. Yeah, this is listed as this is listed as a point and shoot camera, labeled as a point and shoot camera. It's not that it's heavy. It is heavier than most point and shoots, but it is big, folks. This is a full-size body camera, but it's considered a point and shoot that Canon has listed it as. So this is a fixed, there's no interchangeable lenses or anything like that either. This is just on there. So yeah, the size of it, it's going to be when I ordered this, I thought, you know, I wish I could have done an unboxing and you see my face when I took it out of the box. I put it right next to my Sony a6100 and was like, there's no way this thing is this big. I thought it was so much smaller on the photos, but that's my bad. And I'm pretty sure everybody who looked at this and opened it up, if they have had hands-on time with regular mirrorless cameras or other point and shoots, they looked at this and they said, this thing is big. It is the size of a regular mirrorless camera. It is. And that's another thing that I found that, you know, I didn't really like about it. That's just me. So if I wanted a regular big camera like this for $1,000, point and shoot would have not been, or this particular size of point and shoot wouldn't have been my first choice. But it is still good. The hardware on it is good. It's nice. It's all this plastic rubberized grip, really grippy right here on this portion, which it should be because you're going to be holding it like this. So that's something that you need to take note of. It is definitely big. It's not, okay, now listen, it's not undoable for a lot of people. It's just that it's the same size as a Sony a6100. So if you're the people out there that are looking to buy this camera, you want to know how big it is, and there are none around you, go pick up an a6100 by Sony, and this is exactly what the size of it. So now another thing that I don't like about this camera is this right here. When it's on a tripod, you have to remove the tripod to get to the SD card. I despise this way of doing things. I do not like that I have to remove the tripod every time just to get the SD card out. And when I plug this into the computer or the Mac, whatever I'm transferring on, it always has trouble reading. And it wants me to use the application to get the information, to get the footage off of the camera. That is a lot slower. I prefer not to do it that way. I prefer to just take the SD card out and plug it into the computer. That is what I prefer to do. Yeah, that's just not a thing for me. Now, another thing is I have the, it comes with this wind muff, and I have it off because the microphone is up top. As we look around the body here, you can see there's the on and off switch. The microphone is right here in this little screened area right here. You got your zoom here, record button, and then you have all your controls here for controlling the camera, and you switch from video to camera here. And then you have on the back side here, you have all the standard Canon functionality and buttons. This will be normal to people who have used Canon before. I have Canon DSLR cameras and Mills cameras, and so this is all familiar to me. But if it's not, make sure you read the manual, go through the tutorial when you start it up, just do everything you need to do to get familiar with this system here. Now, on this side here, you can see there is ventilation. Again, apparently, some point-and-shoot cameras from Canon has some heating issues. This one has no heating issues. I haven't had it overheat on me at all. You've got ventilation there and a big ventilation here, and then another one back here to get the heat out right there. And then it does have an articulating display. It'll go all the way around, so when you're vlogging facing you, you can see this is how it goes. Now it doesn't go like push forward all the way, but it does come out a little bit, and then you have the articulating screen for the menu right there. Now, one thing I don't like about this wind muff is that it covers the power button. That might sound crazy to some people, but if I just want to click this on, I've always found myself reaching up, having to look for it or feel for it just based on how this wind muff is. Now, from the top here, you're going to say, oh, it's totally, yeah, you can see it. But if I'm doing a top-down shot, like it's what I've been doing, I'm having to reach up there and get it. Kind of annoying. So as we power on here, this is the menu system from Canon. Now this camera, you probably think, Jay, you hate this camera. I don't hate the camera. I just had to point out those reasons why I just don't think you should buy it right off the rip. The price and all the other things I mentioned, yeah, it could be a deal breaker for a lot of people. Now, in the menu here, as you notice, this does have 4K 60, and it has these light profiles where you can get more out of your SD card, depending on the size that you're going to use here. So you can see here, it has 4K 60, but it has a crop on it. And it's not that bad, man. The crop isn't that bad. The fact that it can do 4K 60, I'm excited about that. But I decided to put a smaller SD card in here, and I just went with regular 1080p 30 frames per second, and I can get pretty much I can get more than 2 hours. There's some footage on this card, but you can get basically 2 hours. So if you do 4K or 1080p 60, it cuts it in half because the file size goes up. But if you do like a light version, you can get a little bit more. I chose not to do those versions. I chose to just use the regular footage. And when I did do 4K 30, you can get about 30 minutes out of it right there. But this is the normal Canon system here. This isn't anything that's new. If you're new to Canon, this is what you're working with here. This is the system that they use. It's very thorough. And this is also a touchscreen too, folks. This is a touchscreen. You don't have to, use the scroll wheel here. I just like to use the scroll wheel just so I can keep all the screen available to me with my big hands. All right, so how is the footage on here? Well, I have anything? Oh, I deleted it. This is where I have somewhat of a problem with this camera. I was shooting content on my 10 Pro Fold versus the Z Fold 7. And man, I tell you, for some reason, it just kept focus hunting. And then I tried it on something else, and it did not focus hunt. For some reason, the quality of this is really good. And one other thing I need to point out over here. It does have HDMI out, a microphone out, and a headphone out for monitoring. It has all the things that you need to turn this into a full-fledged studio camera. It works. All those work. I've tested every last one of those and they all work perfectly fine. There's a lot in this camera for a point and shoot. And this camera is for people who don't want to buy glass, meaning detachable lenses. You can save a lot, folks. The focal range on this thing is great. It is great. Now, something that I don't like is that the f-stop only goes down to 2.8. But again, for vlogging, I would love to see at least a 2.4, maybe a 2.2, so I can get a good portrait effect. But the 2.8 is what you get. 2.8 and 4.5 is the farthest it's going to go. But the range on it for vlogging, it's actually pretty good. Even with the 4K crop, I found it to be good if you're going to be holding it. Now, I put it on a tripod, and I really hate, there's different tripods you can do. And I've gotten down to this one right here. I had to get my Insta360 tripod just to see if I can get it out, the SD card out without having to remove the tripod. And it's just not a thing. But depending on what tripod you use, you know, that's up to you. But I wanted to point that out and show you what I was talking about earlier. But nonetheless, the quality of this camera is decent, folks. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be honest. It's great. It's like the scenario has to be right. Sometimes it'll overexpose when I'm out in bright sunlight. It just will not adjust. It just wouldn't adjust no matter what I did. When I did top-down shots here, sometimes it would just blow out the background, and all of a sudden it would slowly come back. And that became a problem to the point where I was like, this is a hobby for me. I'm not going to be working hard. But there's a lot of good things about this camera. It didn't sound like it, I know. But the good thing is it still uses the standard battery. This isn't the factory battery. These are aftermarket batteries that I purchased. Here is the standard battery. And another thing, it doesn't even come with a charger or anything. It just comes with the camera and the battery. This is the standard battery right here. This is the EP17, I believe. My bifocals would adjust. Yeah, the LPE17. This is a standard battery, folks, and I have a ton. This is just one. I have a ton of these batteries. But since I have other Canon cameras, I actually have the old factory Canon charger, which is what I charge this in. I found that if I plug it up in the actual can't like leave it in the camera and charge, it seems to take forever. So I started to use that right there, and then I charged up all the other batteries because I have so many of them. And you will have an unlimited supply of battery. So while this camera is cool and everything, then Canon's advertising it to vlog, and you know they're just advertising it as the real world use. I don't think this will be good for a person starting a YouTube channel. I would tell a person, just get an A6100. It costs less and you get interchangeable lenses. And again, this is the kit lens that I'm using on the A6100. Now, while the A6100 does have the flip out screen, it's not Type C. Those are the things that I would like to see on all cameras going forward. But this is a solid camera for B-roll for me, or taking photos of family and things like that, just events. But now that I've had my experience with it and trying to do some top-down shots, now I did do top-down shots and it worked. As a matter of fact, probably in the last 2 weeks, a lot of the footage was from this camera if I was shooting just a review of a phone. But I had to not use it for my review when I did the Fold versus the Fold, like the Pixel Fold versus the Samsung Fold. I couldn't, it just kept focus hunting for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it just kept doing it. So I do like this camera. I think it's a great camera, but I don't recommend it for a person who's trying to start a YouTube channel. Maybe this is my unit. I don't know. I'm well with outside of my exchange return period. Or honestly, this would be a catch and release because for $1,000, definitely not worth it. There's so many things that I don't like about this camera. And the one thing I should like is the quality. But the battery life is good. It does have all the functionality that you need to kind of run I run HDMI out to a big 15-inch, I think this is like a 14 or 15-inch monitor sitting right there. So I don't have to keep looking up at the smaller camera, smaller screen. But with this having an articulating screen, if I'm doing a top-down shot, I can do it like this, and then I can see it if I want to, or I can have it in this orientation all the way down. But you know, there's a lot to like about this, but I just don't think it's worth $1,000. I don't even think it's worth $900. I regret buying it. Maybe this is a catch and release, but I'm just catching and keeping. Because I'm definitely not. I'm not going to sell this. I don't think after this video, none of my subscribers are going to want to buy this. But yeah, it's just a thing, man. I gotta be honest, and this is a good camera, not a great camera, and I don't think the quality warrants the price warrants the quality. I just don't think the quality matches the price for what I'm using it for, and it should be for vlogs and YouTube content. This doesn't work for me. So there it is, my thoughts on the Canon PowerShot V1. You guys didn't know I had this. I didn't bother even, I just started using it. I wanted to start using it. Some things I just like to use it and then just give you my opinion afterwards. But it's a good camera. If I had to price this camera, I'd price it at about $499. Definitely not $1,000 and definitely not $900. Now, some people will buy this camera and tell you it's great, it fits their needs. But since I do a lot of vlogs and a lot of top-down shots, this just doesn't work for me. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.